General Motors have been making headlines non-stop for the past few weeks, with their public fraud against Elon Musk inside Twitter and with slightly more secretive and indirect feuds outside the social media platform. What is the real reason between this vendetta between two of the biggest EVs of the world? How much of this feud is due to the speculated takeover of GM by Elon Musk? Is the takeover a mutual agreement, or are we missing out on some key details? And most importantly, will the takeover mean a monopoly for Tesla over the EV industry? Watch the video till the very end to find out the answers to all of your questions and more. Let's go. General Motors, a company with a visionary goal to take over the EV market. Not just for making profits, but to rehaul the electronic vehicle world as a whole. Being over 114 years old, General Motors has created a legacy under their name which most EV companies have failed to do. But big goals come with bigger risks. Thus, to achieve such far-fetched and high-achieving objectives, the company naturally had to take in some huge investing risks, which might have not quite worked in their favor. Under CEO Mary Barra, the Detroit company was among the first automaker companies to declare billions of dollars in expenditure to better compete against Tesla in the battery electric vehicle segment. The motor company had the goal to modify the world's views on electric vehicles and self-serving cars. However, their mission turned out to be a far-fetched dream when the company ran into huge losses. Experts suggest a bunch on the reason for this downfall, one of the main ones being their competitors, Tesla. But they were not solely the reason for the company's downfall. General Motors had several loopholes and weak points in their production, which gave Tesla the boost to take over the EV market. General Motors' insane advertisement tactics with some of the biggest Hollywood stars stood nowhere close to the sheer quality and excellence that the Tesla automobiles provided with zero advertisement cost. The situation of the company got so out of hand that General Motors had to shut down a handful of its factories as a last resort. Hence, to save the company and its employees from the misery, Elon Musk announced his plans of wanting to take over one of the biggest automobile companies, General Motors. However, to make this takeover a successful one, Tesla needed to double its investment in the company. It's no news that the economical climate of the West isn't the brightest or most welcoming. The constant inflation and recession have made it impossible for most businesses to sustain, let alone prosper. To explain the economic stance of automobile companies, Chevy Volts, one of the biggest players in the automobile industry, recently announced their discontinuation from the market. Furthermore, the company also intends to shut down a few of their factories and fire thousands of employees as they are very close to bankruptcy. So we think it's safe to say that taking over a company close to bankruptcy might not seem ideal under these circumstances. But what exactly could happen if Tesla actually took over General Motors? What if the two companies agree on a merger? Will the result be positive or absolute chaos? Let's discuss in detail. It's no fact that Tesla has illustrated a tremendous capacity to raise capital based on widespread investor confidence. With the faith that electric-powered vehicles will overtake and supersede the general automobiles that Elon Musk had instilled in its shareholders, Tesla enjoys brand loyalty like no other. But the General Motors aren't any less than Tesla. Despite not enjoying similar advantages like Tesla, GM post-bankruptcy has proven financial sustainability, and its dedication are the company's strong points. A merger of the two would turn out to be a deadly combination as the strengths and weaknesses of the two automakers are complementary, resulting in a combination that would be a win for shareholders, employees, and governments. This could mean policies that are aimed towards sustainable economic and environmental growth, which would benefit the entire population at large. Byron Wien and Joe Zeidel predicted that the takeover has a better than 50% likelihood of happening, even though most investors don't think so. The strategy does make a lot of economic and business sense for Tesla, as the current company's market capitalization is about $783 billion. However, the takeover might not be fully optimistic for Elon Musk, as factors such as Tesla's share price, especially in circumstances such as a merger with rival company like GM, play an important factor for investors to consider. Ironically, in spite of the positive statistics, many consider the merger a betrayal of Tesla's electric-only approach to mobility. But it isn't just the betrayal that got investors cautious. Experts also point out that the merger of Tesla with GM would also mean a merger of Tesla's nimble tech culture with GM's slower and risk-averse tendencies, which once again could be a hefty and risky investment for Tesla. But Tesla might not have to worry too much about these negatives, as GM likely would turn down Tesla's proposal for a merger or a takeover. Did you know that the Nissan-Renault alliance and others have already tried to unsuccessfully have mergers with GM? But this time around, the condition might be slightly dissimilar than the previous Nissan mergers. The GM board would be legally bound to consider the possibility to trade GM shares for Tesla at a premium. Why? With the company nearing bankruptcy, a combination with Tesla would prove relatively attractive to holders of GM stock. Let's also not forget that the latest run-up in GM's price isn't paying a dividend, and the stock has managed only 46% since public in 2010 following bankruptcy reorganization. Those statistics are clearly not helpful to prove that GM is doing better off without Tesla. Besides, it's not just General Motors that will be benefiting from a merger. Both sides potentially benefit from the merger. The practical combination of the two companies isn't too hard to visualize, despite their dissimilar histories and profiles. Despite the company's financial pitfalls, GM has assets that could pay off instantly for Tesla. The company notably has a worldwide manufacturing and components infrastructure capable of building upwards of 8 million vehicles a year. The automaker isn't all perfect as they can be heavily criticized for its slowness to recognize consumer trends and its mediocre marketing initiatives. But at the same time, no one can fault GM for its expertise in high-quality, swift mass manufacture of vehicles. Thus, merging GM into its operations, Tesla would instantly obtain some of the best factories in the world and a production capacity that could instantly vault it to the front rank of global automakers. GM's new Ultium battery venture with South Korea's LG Chem is about to supply the power source for 20 new GM EVs through 2025. GM's highly profitable gasoline-powered trucks and SUVs, and the tremendous cash flow they generate, will be around for a very long time. However, the takeover, in spite of proving to be extremely financially viable, might not happen after all. It seems after all that GM would rather go bankrupt than be taken over by their biggest rivals. Just a few months ago, GM went through a complete restructuring that would practically result in several North America plants shutting down. Tesla CEO Elon Musk said that Tesla would consider buying some of those shuttered factories. Musk said that it was happy with the move. The whole point of Tesla is to accelerate the advent of electric vehicles, sustainable transport, and trying to help the environment. It's the most serious problem that humanity faces. Even back in the days when the news about the shutting down of GM was news to the world, Elon Musk entered into the setup and completely flipped the coin upside down. The Tesla owner expressed his views in an interview where he said, "I might consider buying one of the factories in Ohio." But soon after that statement, the billionaire, in another interview, confirmed that he intends to take over the GM motor factories and would certainly take over. Ironically, GM Motors was one of the final and true competitors of Tesla. It was one of the only initial companies that openly declared that it would spend billions of dollars to compete against the other EV automobile giant, Tesla. Undeniably, Tesla has grown up into an extremely powerful global brand. Over the past 10 years, Musk has proven a remarkably influential figure in high tech, able to command the commitment of investors and customers in the same way that legends like Steve Jobs and Bill Gates did in their time. What Tesla has managed to achieve is more than just a million EVs built and sold through March of 2020. The company has built a legacy, which stands as a testament to corporate tenacity as well as precursor of EV's growing role in mobility. Currently, Tesla operates in an antiquated former GM assembly plant in Fremont, California, and a new assembly plant in Shanghai, with another under construction in Berlin, and one planned for Austin, Texas. So to answer the million-dollar question, can the possible takeover mean an endgame for the rest of the players in the automobile industry? Perhaps yes, but with the biggest two brands working hand in hand, the merger might turn out to be one of the most successful automobile companies to ever exist and achieve some truly unbelievable goals and heights. But let us also not completely deny the possibility of the merger being an extremely wrong move for both companies. For Tesla, as GM is almost bankrupt, and for GM as the company could still emerge as the unexpected underdog winners of the war, in an industry as uncertain as automobiles, specifically electronic automobiles, combined with unfavorable political and economical climate, it does seem fair that we rather not get our hopes up too high, as truly anything is possible at the moment. So yes, we do realize that we are ending the video at a rather complicated spot without really giving you a real answer, but we gave you all the facts and possibilities. What do you guys think would happen if General Motors do finally agree on the takeover? Do you think Elon would regret this decision? Do you think there's still hope for GM? Let us know in the comments down below.